Hi everyone, my name is Tanya Kay, and we are going to make this beautiful oyster Christmas tree. You're going to need a few supplies. You're going to need a hot glue gun, preferably a large cordless one like this one, and also a 24-inch styrofoam cone. You're going to need resin. This is the one that I use, and also a resin measuring cup. You're going to need some things to embellish the oyster tree after, and you're going to, of course, need oyster shells. First thing I do is to go to the shop and crawl all over this huge, very dangerous mound of oyster shells. Sometimes they're loose, and you're crawling on there, and you have to make sure you have gloves on because you don't want to cut yourself on that. But they'll like give way and kind of have like this little avalanche, so you have to be careful. And then getting down from there with a huge bag or box of oyster shells that are pretty heavy can be pretty tricky. So with the help of a few workers, we hand selected every oyster shell that's going to go onto these Christmas trees. I wanted them to look at the best they could, and so I chose shells for size, color, uniqueness. Sometimes I like the back of them and maybe not so much the front, but if the back was pretty interesting. I don't know if you do, but I like when the shells have the little barnacles on there. I mean, oyster shells are holding our coast together, by the way. A lot of times they've been there for a while, and so you'll see barnacles growing off the side of them, and I think it's so beautiful. It's just part of our biology here in South Louisiana. And so when you get one of these Christmas trees, you're not just getting a beautiful sculpture of natural shells, but you're getting a chunk of, for me, the essence of Louisiana. Like, it's such a biologically alive area, some of the most diverse habitats here in Louisiana. So to make a long story short, I really handpicked carefully each oyster that's going to go on these trees. And then from there, I brought them home and washed and scrubbed, and then put them in buckets and vats to soak in bleach water. I just use Clorox. Any bleach will do pretty much, but it has to be pretty concentrated. That way you kill, if there's anything that's been in there from it sitting in that pile, it'll kill all of that. I do seal every single oyster. I seal it front and back. I would suggest you do keep these away from little kids. They're pretty heavy, and it's just like any other sharp object. You want to be careful where you put it. Be careful not to put it too close to the edge of something, because it's just safer that way. After I pick those oysters, and after they've soaked for a whole day in bleach, I will wash them again, and then I spread them out in the sun to dry really, really well. So at this point, they are ready to use, and so I'm going to get started. Even though it may take more than one day to get done, I'll just show you the parts of when I'm doing it. I used really heavy, chunky oysters for the bottom because you want something really sturdy to hold this tree up. I really love the back of this, but I really love the front too, and it's got this little lacy edge, so I really love that. So that's going to be the first one on this one. I like to push it in first to seat it in here really good before I hot glue it. So I find the highest point, and I kind of coat it right here. and put it right back where I decided to place it. Push it in really good. And then just hold it. Now I have this flat on the desk because I want it to be stable and balanced once it's completed. I want to make sure that sets really well. Love that, the way that's gonna look, so good. Look at this big daddy. Look how interesting this is gonna be on the outside. There's a lot of ways I could do it. I could do it this way, but it sticks out a little too much. Let me see if I can get it there. You can see it. It sticks out a little too much right here. So I decided to go with it this way. I think it's gonna conform really well, and I can dig that in really well. It's got a little spat right here, some ridges, gorgeous. So right here, I'm going to hot glue this area, and the point that's going to hit the actual styrofoam. Clean it up as much as you can as you go. You don't want people finding these little strings of hot glue. It's so tacky. Okay. Now, I'm going to move this. Come around this side so you can see. I'm gonna put this one next. Look how cool that looks. It's got like a little cup right here. This side's really pretty too, but for the stability of it, I think it would be better this way. I'm gonna put it right up next to this one, like that. Now it's okay that it sticks out a little bit right here. This is kind of sharp. I'm gonna drizzle a little extra in there because this is my base. And so I want it to be super strong. I will usually wipe that on there just to get the excess off. None of this top stuff is gonna show because I'll be putting shell layers on top of layers. You want to make sure that you can't see under there. You want to hide all of that. A little too thick right here. You want to be able to overlap a little bit because that's what a tree would do. You know, you would have the next branch kind of come over like waves. So I have 5 done halfway. I'm not going any further than that because I need this base to be solid before I go any further. And so you'll see the process of how I make them, look better, and how I secure them. Basically, I use an industrial hot glue gun with industrial hot glue, and they are really secure. That's really secure on there. So it's about to be even more secure. So I finished putting the bottom half of the tree together, and they're very secure. I use industrial glue with an industrial glue gun. So it's a little stronger than a regular glue gun. And now I'm gonna go ahead and just coat each oyster with resin. It takes a very little amount of resin to coat them, but I mean, it takes a long time because I have to sit there and meticulously go underneath, around the edges, and then add some extra drips to make sure they connect to each other. And that's what makes it so strong. And that's what brings out that patina of the oyster and that pearly type look on some of them. So it just brings a deeper surface to each oyster. So that's going to take me a while. So I will be busy for a while. It does not take much. I do use this resin because it is the least toxic. Supposedly the least toxic on the market. After 48 hours, this is completely non-toxic. So I'm going to go up to 4. I pour carefully because I don't like to waste anything, and I want to get that measurement perfect, because if you do not, it will not harden correctly and you'll get sticky, very sticky, and like rubbery surface. So I've got to go all the way to 4. I was trying to see. My eyes are not that great. Okay. Make sure that you use gloves. It's time to stir it. As you can see, I've already used this one, but that's okay. You want to stir this for at least 2 minutes, 3 minutes, something like that. And I'm going to put the phone up so I can stir this correctly. This is another reason why I stop here, because I want this to drip behind all of these, and I want to make sure it gets there. The resin has dried over the whole tree. The part that is just shells, and so it's time to add all of the little embellishments. Not a lot actually, but just to fine tune what's there. And so I will be using a few things to do that and to finish it off. One of the things I use is this roll of burlap ribbon. What I do is I will cut it into strips that are about 2 inches, approximately 2 inches wide. And then I'll cut that in half. And then I'll take and I'll pull the extra little fibers out of the bottom of it to make it really rough looking, like this. And what I do then is I will fold it kind of like a 3-fold to where you have like a little tip right here. I will look at the tree and I'll see if I see anything, any gaps, anything where I could see the actual underneath. And I will shove this in there, and then it makes it look raw. It makes it look like it's coming out of a sack. Basically, it's sack stuff, and just gives it that, you know, rough look that kind of goes with what it is. This one is actually just about done as far as that goes. So I see one more place right in here where I can actually shove this right in here. Let's see if you see that. There's like a little gap right in here. And so just to show you, I would put hot glue gun on the tip of it and then shove it in there and wiggle it around to make sure it catches on something, and then just let it go. And it looks amazing. And then just double check, see if there's any other gaps that I may have missed. And then it would be time to do the top part right here. So at that point, I will go ahead and move the camera so that you could see it a little better. And this is a chopstick and it comes in really handy. This and the lollipop holders come in really handy for stuff like this. I can, if you can see, actually push it in here and position it where I need it to be. And then I'm done. So this is the part, we need to do something with all of this right here. So let's secure this. I had to switch to my smaller hot gun because I ran out of glue sticks and I really didn't feel like going to the hardware store to get those. So, and this is not for the shells, this is just for the embellishment part, the decorations. I'm gonna do this with this thing. The next step, I've already attached the rope here. Basically cut a piece of rope out of this longer piece right here. I clamped it about yay long right here, and then unraveled this part, then measured how far it would take to go around, cut that, clamped it with a piece of rope, same rope I just used, as you can see right here, and kind of fluffed the edges right here. So cute. Then I took a wooden ball, which I've looked for a few things that would maybe go with these trees, and everything I've seen kind of takes away from it. I could put a sea star on there. I've seen that done, but I don't know. It just doesn't kind of go with, sea stars and oysters don't grow in the same environment. So I didn't think it was a good idea to use that. So I found these little wooden balls. They're not beads in that there's no hole in it. So I didn't want you to see the hole on the side of the ball. So I actually found some with no hole in it. And so I glued that to the top, to the very top. And so you make this little crown bed for that wooden ball so that it's a little more secure with this rope. And this is what it looks like on the top. I took seed pearls and I just shoved those all around. It kind of looks like a little crown. So that's what the top looks like. I use this right here, and I actually snip off each of these. If you look at it close, there's a small amount of, there's some threads that actually hold it on. I don't snip this, I snip this part right here, okay? So I actually did a few in advance, and so I'll show you. I'll leave that part in there. It just adds to the fullness of what goes up there. And so I put a little bit, kind of not on the top and not completely on the side, kind of on the top corner. Put a tiny little bit of glue there. And that is going to go right up against the, I'm going to do it right here. So I'm going to continue to put these all, fill in this whole area. I'm going to show you one more idea. If you can't find these, and if you can find some of this rope, I only need one more of these crown things. I'm almost finished with it. So here's what I did. I unraveled a little bit of this. Okay, let me move this camera so you can see me a little better. I hold this in my hand about a fingertip width, about this much. Hold it with all of your fingers. Take your scissors, hold it snugly. Take your scissors and cut through that. You're going to end up with this. Don't move it, okay? You're going to take the hot glue gun and you're going to put a generous bead on there and then move it to where it touches every edge. Don't move this hand at all. Hold it securely. Make sure that glue touches every single fiber there. Once you have that, you're going to snugly place that on the surface that you're trying to fill. Wiggle it a little bit, tiny little bit, not too much. Let it dry. Don't fluff it or anything like that. Look at that. That cordless hot glue gun is probably the best purchase I've made this year. There's no wires to it, so you're not like dragging a wire over everything you're doing while you're trying to create something. It stays charged for a long time and it gets hot really fast. And because the glue is so hot, it makes a better bond. I find it does anyway. Snip almost all of that off. for what I'm doing, that's how I'm gonna handle it. Now, some of the trees, I actually embedded the pearls into the little tufts down here. I think I'm gonna do that with this one because I do have quite a few, and then I'll probably go and add it to the other. I made 5 of these, so I'll probably add it to the others that I already did. The only thing I may do extra after these are completely done, and this is the last one, I will probably flip it over and take gold paint and paint anything exposed on the bottom just to finish it off, give it a nice look, and maybe even put my logo on the bottom as well. So I hope you enjoyed this. This is one of the first instructional videos I make, so I hope that I did an okay job. Let me know in the comments what you think about the trees and about my instruction. I was a teacher for many years, but it's been many years since then, so it's not like, yes, it's kind of like riding the bike, but at the same time, this is different than what I was teaching back then. I taught social studies and American history and math and reading and stuff like that. This is an actual hands-on, so I'm trying to show you and explain, and then I'm in my right brain, so it's really hard to talk and create at the same time. It's just really a struggle, I have to let you know. So, but I do hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you come back for more. Thank you so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe. So this one is done. I'm going to give you a close-up of it so you can kind of see the detail on it. If the camera will pick it up, who knows, but here we go.